Welcome to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast,
where we've flipped the script with our groundbreaking modus operandi to bring you real, relevant, and relatable tactics and techniques to master your own play to win mindset.
Talk about a superpower. It's time to iron your cape.
What we know for sure is what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one is really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Welcome to The Edge, where playing not to lose is not an option. Hey, Karen.
I am so happy that your microphone is actually on.
I know, that was a wasted 33 minutes of our life, wouldn't you say?
Well, I didn't really waste my 33 minutes, but you did. But you really did look like Clark Griswold. And then all of a sudden, boom, one switch, lights are on.
I love it. It's just, and that's the interesting thing. One quick switch can change your life. So we are super excited to be here. And this is all about making this a play to win year.
And you might ask, what is a play to win year? Well, you know what? We're going to tell you.
It is play to win versus playing not to lose is such a concept that we have used with teams and individual leaders and executives all across the land. And basically, the play to win mindset is about being all in, game on, designing the life that you want, managing your mind, living on purpose, like all of those amazing things.
And I think that it takes a lot. So it's not all of a sudden like, okay, great, you're playing to win and you win all the time. But what it is, it's about what's the mindset that you want to go into things with. Like, what's the mindset that you might want to go into a meeting with? What's the mindset that you might want to go into a game with? What's the mindset that you might want to go into a conversation with? And the great part about it is that you have absolute control over all of it. So this is really making a commitment to decide on purpose and even going for, what might feel impossible, but actually turns possible because your mindset changed. So I think one thing that's really important to note here is that it's about your commitment level as well. You can't just think your way to playing to win, although it is a mindset. Like, there has to be action that's going to complement what it is that's going on in your head.
It's so true. It's all about results-based living. It's determining the results that you want, figuring out the actions that you have to commit to be able to get that result. What is the feelings that you need to use as the fuel to create those actions? And then what do you need to think? What do you need to believe in order to generate the feeling?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because this is going to lead into the next concept that we're talking about, right? So we're talking about play to win. But there also really we need to think about is playing to win versus playing not to lose. And a big part here with playing not to lose, it always you guys know that I love sports, and it always makes me think of sports. And there's a big reason why you see those huge upsets, right? Teams are 20 or 30 points down, but comebacks are possible. It's because at some point during that game, the team that's leading gets comfortable, or they get scared, or they, it's funny now that I'm saying it, they decide to play not to lose. And there's a huge psychological difference between playing to win and playing not to lose.
So let's talk a little bit about what playing not to lose is. I think the best way to be able to talk about it is it's really an avoidance strategy, right? So it's a protection of being on the upside. It might be a protection mechanism so that you don't have a negative result. You don't have negative feedback. You don't have the perceived pain that is associated with failure. And it really is pretty costly.
Oh, yeah, it is, because it's coming from a mode of kind of the reaction versus a response, being reactive versus being proactive. And it's funny because when you're playing not to lose, you're scared to make a mistake.
Yeah, it's sort of, if you think about it, that every time we fail to live up to our true commitments that we make to ourselves, that we make to other people, anytime we ever shortchange our potential or we undermine our own confidence, then all of a sudden we start moving into that playing not to lose
versus playing to win.
versus playing to win.
Yeah, because and it, you're going to hear us talk time and time and time again here that it's truly a decision. It's truly a choice. And that when you think, what I just said, right? When you're playing not to lose, you're scared to make a mistake. But when you're playing to win, you're willing to take risks. So it's about those biggest risks having those biggest rewards. When you're playing not to lose, you're playing it safe. When you're playing to win, you're going to be more fearless. You're going to be more energized. And so it's really understanding, again, what's the mindset that you want to approach things with that are going to allow you to stay more in that play to win space.
And you can identify it by the way you think and what your thoughts are. So if your thoughts are like, oh my God, we can't lose, or we can't let this get away from us, or we can't show poor results again, when we have the we can't fill in the blank, that's more of a playing not to lose mentality.
Yeah.
Right?
This just made me think of that playing, like, I love challenges. And for me, playing to win is a challenge. And playing not to lose is more about just playing scared.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good way to look at it, right? So characteristics of playing not to lose is when you settle for good enough is good enough. Or excuses become the norm. You mentioned it earlier, Kara. It's about being reactive. And so it shows up playing not to lose in many different ways being a leader, right? Your work might be super slow and deliberate. There could be a tendency to be a perfectionist, right? Really tending to be overly accurate, always being prepared for the worst, stressed out by short turnaround deadlines. Oftentimes playing not to lose means we've done it in the past, it'll work right now. We're going to stick to tried and true ways of doing things because at least you'll get the same results. And often it's about feeling anxious and worried when things go wrong.
It's funny, though, that you just said that, right? You're going to get the same results. So you're going to kind of keep the self-fulfilling prophecy of, like, good enough is good enough.
Yeah.
Versus we're leaving so much great on the table.
It's so true.
Yeah.
The play to win mindset, though, is really focused on strategy, vision. You get to know the other teammates really well, what their strengths are, being able to understand other people's motives. It's about being proactive and inspiring. And it's about keeping the vision alive so that you know what you want most matters more than what's in the moment.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean...
think about that, though. So, really, if you need to hit pause for a sec or rewind that, because that was really good. Think about that.
Right. Playing to win is about knowing what matters the most versus what matters in the moment.
Yeah. And if, with playing not to lose, it makes me think more like it's a preventative kind of mindset. And fear jumps in there. And it almost makes, this is going to sound weird, but it makes not losing more powerful than winning in your head. And if you're playing to win is empowering, right? It's rooted in your self-belief that you can win. And heck, that's like, let's bring on that challenge. Let's rise to that occasion there. And when you play to win, this is a big piece of this also. You don't have to be perfect. You just go in with the mindset that I could do this. I got this. And that's really important.
Yeah, it's the playing to win doesn't mean you won't have failure along the way.
Hell yeah.
It means that you say bring on the failure because I am stretching myself to be the next best version of who I am. Yeah. And a lot of times people hear the play to win and it's about winning in life. The way I view play to win is and a play to win life is really about being all in, and it's not about winning so that somebody else loses. It's more about winning so that I'm the next version, best version of myself to be able to create that result. It's me against me. It's not even against me. It's me rooting for me. It's me actually saying there is more. I can live into more potential, more opportunity, more capacity. Can develop the ability. And it's really about saying what's possible and who am I becoming while I'm figuring that out.
And it's about being uncomfortable.
100%, right?
Because think about it, right? Failure doesn't necessarily feel great. However, like just because you fail at something, it doesn't make you a failure, but you're going to learn from that. It's kind of, it's just failure rate of success. And there's times with different leaders that I've worked with and I'm like, you know what? Let's fuck up quick. Right? Screw up in the beginning, do it fast, let's learn from it, and we're just going to move forward. Let's not focus on getting everything right. Let's just focus on getting things done, start to make mistakes, and so what? You figure so much out. And not only do you learn so much about processes, but you learn so much about yourself and how you're going to deal with not always technically winning or not having to be perfect.
I love it. Well, this is going to be a fun year. This whole playing to win, the mindset that's needed. Karen and I are super excited that you're going to be along the way with us as we continue to explore what does this really mean? How do you get the mindset to do it? And tips, techniques, and tricks along the way to stay in the play to win mode.
Game on.
Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast.
Craving more? Of course you are.
Check out our website at kickstartyouredge.com,
where we fire you up, fan the flames of your competitive edge culture, and ignite your tenacious pursuit of an all-out play-to-win mindset.